الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وبعد. The Bible, a man's world. It is a fact of life today that criticism of Islam and everything Islamic has become popular on whatever platform Islam's critics can find, whether it is read, watched, or listened to. One would think that the critics would become bored with, or at least distracted from, doing this, especially when finally the word terrorism is now gradually, if slowly, being used with other religions and communities, such as white supremacy groups and fanatical Christian groups and individuals. However, numerous organizations, prominent among them Jewish and Christian groups and individuals, did not forget the old preferred enemy, Islam. They are not being distracted by the current realization that, at least in the United States, they discovered that the danger posed by fanatical Christian groups and their violent ideologies is larger than the danger posed by the so-called Islamic terrorism. That's what they're saying in the media, by the way, and even the authorities. They are still at it, meaning against Islam, going strong against Islam. Every day, countless attacks on Islam are being promoted on multitudes of websites and by countless government agencies and personalities, churches, and of course, radical Jewish and Christian organizations. Their preferred method against Islam is simple, even though they try to make it look like it is complex and sophisticated, but it's simple. 3 words: Islam, terror, jihad. And they use the variations of these words, Islam, Muslims, Muslimun, Muslimaik, terror, terrorism, terroristic, jihad, and whatever they can come up with pronunciations, So they use any variations of these words, and in their criticism of Islam, they hope that to keep repeating these words and many, many other things, but these are the basics, Islam, terrorism, jihad. Islam, terror, jihad. If they can make these words stick together in the mind of people who listen to them, they think they would have succeeded in their campaign to suppress Islam and fight Islam, which started, by the way, from the day Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Muhammad, announced Islam to his people. He called them to Tawheed and then to the world. From day one, these people tried to suppress and kill Islam. Today they're still doing it. They try their best, and it's not succeeding, because Islam now is the largest religion on earth. Get over it. Get over it. Among the themes that have been circulated recently is what some of them called, and this is actually a title they called, did Allah forget the wives? They claim that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will exclude the wives from joining their husbands and offspring in paradise. They will be alone by themselves, and the husbands and the children, their children will be, somewhere else. They're together, and the women are just sitting there without wives or husbands. Well, the Quran responds to these people in one ayah, which is Quranic statement. I will mention the meaning here in English. This day, this is the verse now, the ayah. I don't like to use the word verse, but this is what people understand from ayah in English. So the ayah, Quranic statement says, this day, meaning the day of resurrection, none will be wronged in anything, nor will you be requited, mean you, the believers, nor will you be requited anything except that which you used to do, because we're talking about the believers here. Also the disbelievers, it's the same thing. They will only get what they give. And Allah will not add to the sins of anyone. And He will multiply the good deeds of those who did good deeds. So to continue, this day none will be wronged in anything, nor will you be requited anything except that which you used to do. Verily, the dwellers of the paradise that day will be busy with joyful things. They and their wives will be in pleasant shade, reclining on thrones like kings and queens, because they will be. They will have therein fruits, meaning of all kinds, and all that they ask for. It will be said to them, Salam, peace be to you, a word from the Lord, Allah, the creator of all things, most merciful. This is Surah, chapter number 36, ayat, verses or statements 54 to 58. Let me read them quickly again, without the explanation, the extra explanation. Of course, all the Quran is in Arabic. That's the original language, and it's the language of the tradition of Prophet Muhammad that explains the Quran. We have all the originals. They're all perfectly preserved, and they're all in Arabic. So the meaning here of this Quranic statement, or these Quranic statements, is in English. This day none will be wronged in anything, nor will you be requited anything except that which you used to do. This day none will be wronged in anything, nor will you be requited anything except that which you used to do. Verily, the dwellers of the paradise that day will be busy with joyful things. They and their wives will be in pleasant shade, reclining on thrones. They will have therein fruits, and all that they ask for. Salam, a word from the Lord, most merciful. So this is what the Quran says. They respond, the Quran, these statements respond to what these evangelicals are saying. So, what about the Bible? What does the Bible offer women? Now, here's a part of a book Allah blessed me to author, titled, Did Allah Forget the Wives? In response to, those statements by the evangelicals. And this book can be found on Amazon, by the way. I'm mentioning a part of it here. The Bible is a man's world. It judges women to be inferior. Somehow, religious Christians ignorantly criticize Islam on the topic of women's rights, and yet pretend that Christianity does not give supremacy to men above women. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 5 to 13 state that, but every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head, for that is even all one as if she were shaven. Clear, huh? For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman is of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. Judge in yourselves, is it comely that a woman pray unto God uncovered? Conversely, in Islam, it is part of acceptable, encouraged habits for men to cover the head. Therefore, Muslim men and women share this quality and other characteristics of Islamic clothing and dress code. In 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 6, the woman is described as silly woman or silly women, laden with sins, led away with divers lusts. This is the verse. Who brought curse upon herself, as Genesis 3:16 states. Unto the woman he said, meaning God, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Now this is especially since she lured man into sin, as we are told. Genesis 3:12 states that, and the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. In contrast, Islam primarily blames Adam for this error, not Hawa, Eve. Quranic statements, chapter 20, verses or ayat 120 to 122 assert this fact. Again, I'm going to read just the meaning in English. Then Satan whispered to him, saying, O Adam, shall I lead you to the tree of eternity and to a kingdom that will never waste away? Then they both, Adam and Eve, then they both ate of the tree, and so their private parts became manifest to them, and they began to cover themselves with the leaves of the paradise for their covering. Thus did Adam disobey his Lord, and he went astray. Then his Lord chose him and turned to him with forgiveness and gave him guidance. Indeed, the Bible is a man's world where all blame for evil and wickedness falls on women. Men are free from sin, and even when they commit sins, they blame the woman for it, and then the woman gets punished for her wickedness. The man, in contrast, does not get punished for this sin, while the woman is punished with physical pain, meaning childbirth. Instead, the man gets food. And unto Adam he, meaning God, said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake, in sorrow shalt thou eat of it, and all the days of thy life. Genesis 3:17. This to the side. So in sorrow, you're going to eat food. Okay. And when a woman is unfortunate enough to be judged by the Bible, this will be her fate, according to Numbers 31:17 and 18. Now therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him, but all the women children, the virgins, but all the women children that have not known man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. Meaning as sex partners, right? Did the children of Israel keep, the result of what happened, in that section of the Bible is that 32,000 virgin girls were captured by the mighty children of Israel. So I continue here. Did the children of Israel keep the 32,000 teenager virgin girls they captured to teach them the Old Testament? The Bible doesn't offer believing women in specific any hope of gaining salvation except in childbearing. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived, as in the transgression. As for women, they do not have, a clear promise in paradise for anything. Whether being in paradise, what will they do in paradise, and if they going to be with their children and, husbands or whatever. So to end, the Bible is not the word of the creator of everything. It is the word of many unknown men, and was repeatedly corrupted by the hands of many other unknown men. The Bible is a man's world where the creator of both men and women is falsely described as the Lord is a man, Exodus 15:3, and this would be true for one who believes the lie that Jesus is the Lord. Now, this is a part of the book written by Jalal Abu Rub, myself. Did Allah Forget the Wives? Page 44 to 46. I encourage you to read and listen with care, because one statement from the Quran brought down the entire lie. But look what the Bible offers women. Nothing. Just curses and a vague promise of being like angels in heaven, which, by the way, doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to have sex. We'll talk about this later. So I encourage you to listen with care, and hopefully you will understand that what they say about Islam is not true. I thank Allah, God, the Creator, for sending His prophets, starting with Adam, passing through Noah, and Abraham, Musa, Moses, Isa, Jesus, and Muhammad. And thanks to Allah all the time and forever.